All right. Well, we have an exciting conversation today here. We have Olisa from NOC, who's going to share us more about that program, along with Michelle Lesher and I. So, Olisa, what is this NOC program all about that we keep hearing about, and obviously sharing this with those that are watching this today?
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you guys for having me. So, knock is a great way for lenders, agents, and clients to be able to get into their new home in a faster, smoother, and a cost-effective way. So, essentially, I like to say we're giving clients access to the equity in their home like it's been sold. So, clients can access this equity to cover down payment, closing costs. They could pay off some debt if they need to reduce their DTI. They could even do some renovations on their home, amongst other things. But the secret sauce of our bridge loan, takes us from a traditional bridge loan to the best in the world, is that it comes with this backup offer. So our backup offer is essentially saying that if for some odd reason your client were not able to sell their house on the open market within 6 months, knock is providing a backup offer to buy that house from them at an agreed upon price. Now, I know that could sound scary to some folks, but I want to put a caveat out there that we've bought 6 homes ever in the past 11 years. So very unlikely we would buy your house. The main reason we have that offer there is to remove the sales contingency. So when they're putting in an offer on a new home, they're 4 times more likely to win that offer. And you don't have to count their existing mortgage anymore in the DTI because now they have that flexibility to go even buy even more house. So the bridge loan just works for all parties in the transaction. We like to say we're just building the bridge to make it easier for everyone.
What kind of clients would you say are best fitted for the NOC program?
We help all kinds of clients. I mean, general rule of thumb is anyone that has a house to sell, they have equity in their home. My rule of thumb is they should have about 30% equity and then they're ready to buy a new home. So some of the folks that fit into this bracket are people with kids. Like if you have kids or you have pets, trying to sell your house while living in it can be cumbersome. I've told you this before. A customer said trying to sell their house while living in it was like brushing their teeth and chewing Oreo. So it is a cumbersome process. So we get to alleviate that. And then we have a lot of folks who are moving in from out of state, maybe some elderly folks who've lived in their house for a while. They don't want to deal with the hassle of showings or moving while selling. And they just rather just go buy the new house and get that convenience to sell their home. So there's all kinds of people that we could help with the program.
That's great. What happens if the house doesn't sell in 6 months?
Yeah, that's a very common question, and I understand why it's asked. So the way I explain it is Knock is not really intending to buy your house, but we are providing that safety net. Like I mentioned earlier, we bought 6 homes in the past 11 years. So what happens if the house for some reason doesn't sell is that Knock is going to make a backup offer. Typically, the offer is around 80% of the home's fair market value. So if for some reason this house doesn't sell, the clients have the option to either pay off the bridge loan or sell to us at that agreed upon price. But the great thing about our bridge loan is that it also comes with an upside guarantee, which means that if for some reason the house doesn't sell and we did buy the house, we're going to put it up for resale. And if it sells for above what we purchased it for, we actually give that upside back to the customer after transaction fee. So again, very little risk to the customer, actually.
That's great to hear. What would you say is the comparison of knock versus the seller that says, well, I'm just going to go get a HELOC and that'll solve my problem?
Yeah, yeah, we get that all the time too. So a HELOC could be great for some solutions or sometimes, but the thing with a HELOC is that it actually adds to the debt to income ratio. Most clients can hardly qualify with their existing mortgage and a new home. So when you're adding a HELOC payment and interest to that, that makes it impossible for them to qualify. So the great thing about our bridge loan is that it's omitting their existing mortgage from the DTI. Our bridge loan is zero interest, zero payment, so it doesn't count against them in the DTI. So you truly are just qualifying the client on their new home purchase. So I would say that's the biggest difference between a HELOC. And then our bridge loan gives the clients the opportunity to actually pay $0. And this is one of the cool things about the program because our fee is always based on the list price, which is dictated by the customer and dictated by the agent. So if the house sells for above list, which it should, given that they have 6 months to sell, they have tools to renovate it, they could actually cover the cost of the program by just selling it 2.25% above what they listed it for. And you can't do that with a HELOC. So I could go on and on, but basically, bridge loan is better than a HELOC.
I just wanted to share too, we've obviously had a lot of successful client situations that we've helped with knock, just firsthand. And, just seeing those people, I can think of a couple of them where the families were busting at the seams. They needed that next home, and we solved that problem because of knock. Uh, People that were downsizing that needed to get into the next home, maybe on a fixed income.
Yeah.
There called the one gentleman that we did there. who needed this as the gap to make it be possible for him, and then many others. So do you see those opportunities are more and more plentiful right now in terms of like, I mean, that's what we're seeing. Like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
people that are quote unquote trapped in their homes, and this is the gateway, really, right?
100%. Yeah. There are a lot of folks that utilize this program to re-engage some of their past clients that maybe they closed deals 4, 5, 6, 7 years or more ago. And maybe those clients feel like they can't move because they're locked in on those really great interest rates from back in the day. But on the opposite side, maybe their family's expanded and they've outgrown the home, but they feel like I don't have enough money saved up or all that stuff. So the bridge loan could actually help you re-engage those clients because it is a relatively new product. Knock is the originator of the buy before you sell space, and we've only been in existence for 11 years. So majority of people only know the traditional ways. So that's why it's really great when folks like you and Michelle and your agent partners are able to introduce this to their clients so that they know that they do have other options. Like they don't know what they don't know, and they don't do this every day like you and I. So they only know one way, especially if they just bought a house and who knows how long ago they bought that house. They forgot about the whole process. But it's why people like you are there to educate them and show them that there are alternative ways to get into that new home in a more efficient way, actually.
I think, for today's conversation, this gives people a great insight on this as a solution or a tool. And for those that are listening and watching this, definitely reach out to us and we can see if that's a fit for you or clients that you know, and see if this is the way that they can get into their next home. So, Elisa, thanks for spending some time with us today.
Thank
And
you.
thanks for those that were listening. So
Thank
have a
you, guys. I
great,
appreciate it.
great day.